Okay, good morning and welcome to the final Iyun Maasros. It's part of Yeshiva YouTube. I want to discuss the last Mishnah in Parakeh in Maseches Maasros. Parakeh Mishnah Ches. The Mishnah talks about seeds that you would plant in your field. Now, when you plant them, you'll eat the crop, whatever grows, whatever the onion that grows from the zera, whatever. However, the seed itself is not edible. Only when you plant it, it provides something edible. The seed itself is not chayiv in Shumas and Maasros. It's not chayiv in Maasros, and it's not chayiv in Shvius. Shvius doesn't apply. It says Turim and Maasros. Now, up until now, I would say whenever it says Turim and Maasros or chayiv in Maasros, I've included Trumos and Maasros. You know, this Masechta is called Maasros, and the previous Masechta is called Trumos. Generally, it means Trumos and Maasros, which we're talking about. When the Gemar Malacha happened, it's processed. You bring it into your domain. You have to take off Trumos and Maasros. Let's talk about Tevel. That's basically what I'm talking about. However, it's curiously, it's called Maasros, right? And the previous Masechta is Trumos. There's a difference. Truma is really Truma Gdol, and maybe Trumas Meiser, which you first give to a Kohen. And Trumas Meiser is what a Levi takes from his Meiser Rishon you gave to him, the tenth that you gave to him, and he gives Truma 1/10 of that to a Kohen. And then there's Meiser Ani, and Meiser Sheni is the next Masechta. Meiser Ani is the first, second, fourth, and fifth year you give to an Ani. Another 1/10, and third and sixth year you bring to Yerushalayim, Meiser Sheni. So Maasros is called Maseches Maasros. We've been saying Trumas Meiser the same time. Why was this part of the previous Masechta? It's called one Masechta, Trumas and Maasros. Why there's two different Masechtas over here? So there's a big difference in one of the halachas over here. This last halacha, right? If you have a seed, right, it's not edible. If you were to plant it in your yard, it would be chayiv in Trumas and Maasros. The plant, the onion, or the radish or things like that, but the seeds are not eaten. So there's a big difference in Trumas and Maasros over here. When it comes to Truma, it would be chayiv in Truma. Because when you plant it, because when I plant it, we're talking about you plant the seed and then something grows from it. Now I want to go underground and take the seed, which sprouts into a stem and eventually to a plant. It's still a seed, right? So in terms of Truma, now this seed is chayiv in Truma. Ever in Maasros is not chayiv in Maasros. What's the difference? The difference is that Truma Gedola belongs, not only the physical plant and the seed belong to the Kohen, but also the value belongs to the Kohen. I explained the two differences, that the goof, the physical thing, the shalo belongs to the Kohen. Rishuso is in Hashem, but Hashem gave that to the Kohen. Both of them at the end of the day belong to the Kohen. However, when it comes to Maasros, since Meiser Rishon technically is chulin, right? If I give Meiser Rishon to a Levi, if a Zar eats that, or Yisrael eats that, he's allowed to eat that. He's not chayav any avera if he did it. If the Levi wants to give it back to them, and therefore you have Damai. If you're not sure if they go Trumas and Maasros, you can separate the Meiser Rishon. You can eat it yourself because it's chulin, right? Meiser Ani also is chulin. Meiser Sheni will learn it's not exactly chulin, but it's eaten by the owners. So Bershuso belongs to you. The value belongs to you. The shalo doesn't belong to you. You have to give it to Levim, give it to the Aniyim. The physical plant doesn't belong. The physical plant doesn't belong to you, but the value does belong to you. So therefore, this is the difference over here. Because basically, when I'm planting a seed and now it grows into a plant, right? The seed I don't eat; it's not edible, but the plant is edible. So that would be something called davar hagorim l'mamon k'mamon dami, right? Something which causes mammon. It causes the seed. It causes something valuable to sprout from it. Right, so the seed itself is not edible. It's not something which you chayiv in Trumas and Maasros, but it's a davar hagorim l'mamon. We learn Maseches Baba Kama, and Maseches Ksuvos also. Davar hagorim l'mamon basically is something which causes me to be able to replace something. Right, if I have something, if I steal something, whatever, and even if it's not worth anything, since I can return it to the person and I'm putter, and I can exempt myself from being liable for this property, or return something to someone, even though it's not worth anything, it's a shora hamuad now. That was hamazik, it's chayiv skila, but I can return it, and it's considered return to the person, and so it's worth money. And the fact that I can return it to somebody, even though you go to the marketplace, it's not worth any money, but it has value in terms that I can do something with. It has value. It's not, the goof is not worth anything, but it has the reshus is the value. So over here also, the seed is davar hagorim l'mamon k'mamon dami. When it comes to Trumos, davar hagorim l'mamon is k'mamon dami. So we paskin davar hagorim l'mamon is k'mamon dami. The Gemara paskin, it has value, but the reshus has value. The value has value. The value has value. Itself is not worth anything. You can't eat it. So when it comes to Truma, we're not only the goof belongs, where the shalo belongs to the Kohen, but also their shusa belongs to the Kohen. So therefore, it's chayiv in truma. However, when it comes to maasros, maaser ani, maaser rishon, we'll talk about more about maaser sheni, if that's included also. At least those two things, maaser ani and maaser rishon, those are chulin, and they don't belong to the Levium. The shalo, the plant, belongs to the Levium, but the reshuso remains with the bailim. It remains with the bailim. The value belongs to the bailim. So therefore, darar mamon is lavka mamon dami, because the value belongs to you. So therefore, the zera always remains, the seed always remains to be in the reshus of the bailim, because all it has is value. It doesn't have value inherently because it's not edible. It has value that it can produce something which is edible. So therefore, it's only valuable for its value, not for its actual worth. And the actual worth doesn't belong to you, but the value does belong to you. So therefore, the seed remains pater in trumos and pater in maasros, not in trumos. In trumos to be chayav. That's the big difference over here. Why this masechah is called maasros. That's the difference in maasros and trumos. Finally, got it clear in last Mishnah, but all's well that ends well. I hope you enjoyed. See you tomorrow. Masechas Maaser Sheni.